Week 2 of the 2025 NFL season sees the 1-0 Los Angeles Rams heading to the 0-1 Tennessee Titans. This is at Nissan Stadium, the fourth ever visit for the Rams at Nissan Stadium, and in all likelihood, the final, as their new stadium opens in a few years here. Actually, what is that? 2 years away. I had to look to do that math. That's awesome. It's in 2027. It's very close here, but yeah, Rams at Titans, Nissan Stadium, 10 a.m. Pacific time kickoff. We get this game is going to be on CBS with Ian Eagle as well as J.J. Watt on the sideline. We'll hear from Evan Washburn. Fox gets the double header in this one, so on your screen you're seeing that the Rams are going to be in the blue zones for this matchup. But this, again, single header for CBS, so that actually does include both the morning games as well as the afternoon games, so snug windows there. Not much you can do about that. I would anticipate, though, that next week in Philly, the Rams get a larger area, especially you could pull out a win in this one, and if the Eagles can beat the Chiefs. Your bettors out there, your Rams are minus 5.5, minus 250 on the money line, and 42.5 is the over-under. Those are FanDuel numbers. Time to get into our pants picks, sweeping the nation. This is the best game of all time. You're welcome to join in. Feel free to comment what your pants picks are. But the Rams are going to be rocking the bone jerseys. It's the bone zone this week. And, a lot of different picks coming in for this one. I am going with the Royal. Peo and Rams House are going with the Soul. And Tuna is going with the bone pants for this one. So we're kind of all over the place. Certainly somebody or two people will be in first and or last place. We'll see what kind of happens. So Peo and Rams House picking my favorite combo of Rams uniforms, which is the bone jersey with the soul pants. Absolutely love that. Big old fan. I'm hoping that the bone is here to stay, but I also understand that it feels like it's going to get phased out. And it's kind of weird to me, the bone uniform. Because the people that like the bone uniform are like, I think it's awesome. Like, I'm one of them. I think it's incredible. I think it's so unique. I think it's really just more creative than anybody else has done in the NFL. I know Arizona kind of took their rivalries uniforms and did that sand color. But it is one of those things where, like, people that like the bone are like, yeah, all the uniforms are cool, but I think a bone is the coolest. And then people that don't like the bone are like, ugh, you like the bone uniforms, you idiot. It's like, all right, dude, it's fine. We're all allowed to like different things. It's fine. Maybe use high voice a little bit. All right. The matchup history. This is the 15th all-time meeting between the Rams and the Titans/Oilers. The Rams do lead the all-time series 8-6. Most recent game between these two came on November 7th of 2021. Great season for the Rams, but ultimately a loss for the Rams against the Titans, 28-16. I do remember this being one of those games being like, it ends, it's like, we're better than this. What are we doing out here? It worked out in the end, obviously. They don't take away your Super Bowl ring because you lose to the Titans in November, so it's going to be okay. First ever game between these two came on October 7th, 1973. That was a Rams win over the Oilers, 31-26. Versus the Tennessee Titans only, the Rams are 3-4 all-time, with that biggest win being, of course, Super Bowl 34, 23-16 win for the Rams on January 30th of 2000. The Titans have won 3 of the last 4 against the Rams, and this is the 4th ever time the Rams will play at Nissan Stadium. 1-2 versus the Titans at Nissan Stadium, and this is in all likelihood the final. I think it actually is for sure. I'd have to look again at the future opponents, but I'm pretty sure we don't play on the road at the AFC South, even same place finisher, until the new stadium is open. So last time we'll be checking out Nissan Stadium is 2027, just a couple years out for that new stadium. So last week, Tennessee Titans, they come in after a week 1 loss in Denver. They did have the lead 3 separate times, but Denver did score the final 10 points in the game. Broncos were up by 1 from the third quarter to about 7.5 left in the fourth, and then they added that touchdown to kind of close it out. Titans did not score a touchdown. The Rams did not give up a touchdown. So if the Rams can avoid giving up a touchdown here against rookie Cam Ward and the gang, Sorry, I don't know what happened there. All right, so all of a sudden music was playing. Okay, so I lost my train of thought here. Hold on. We got this. So if the Rams can avoid giving up a touchdown, it would go a long way, I think, for the confidence of this young defense going into Philly Week 3 without letting a team get into the end zone. So do I anticipate that would leak into the Philly game? Well, I can only hope. And you know what? I think this defense is better than it was last year, even in the playoffs. So, I mean, obviously you got to kind of gel a little bit. We'll see what the corners are doing and all that stuff. We got a lot of weird mixed up action going on there. But ultimately, I think the ability to go into a Week 3 game without having anybody score a touchdown on you, obviously that would be good news. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Obviously, we have a whole 4 quarters to play against the Tennessee Titans. And Cam Ward coming in on in their home opener, obviously that would be, something to be a little hyped for. So you got that. Also, second-year head coach Brian Callahan, second game quarterback Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick. That could really become a solid combo. Callahan did serve as the Bengals offensive coordinator for the previous 5 years, which does mean that the Rams did face him in the Super Bowl when he was with the Bengals and lost to the LA Rams, obviously, which is awesome. Some milestones we are checking out in this game. Matthew Stafford, he did become the 10th player in NFL history to throw for 60,000 yards. That football went to Puka Nacua. That was a cool little subtle moment there where, Matthew didn't make a big deal out of it, but he did kind of mention to Puka, he's like, I'm glad that ball went to you, which I think is absolutely awesome. I think the respect is very, very clear there. It was on a little swing route, so nothing too crazy, but that was the one that pushed him over. Absolutely love it. Matthew Stafford is now 1,307 yards behind Dan Marino, 2,738 behind Matt Ryan. So could absolutely slip into 8th place in NFL history by the end of the season. 7th place right now is Aaron Rodgers, who is just 245 behind Phillip Rivers for 6th place. So could be hitting that mark as early as this week. So a little shift there. Rodgers to 6 and Rivers to 7. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, Stafford does have a few yards to catch up to Mr. Phillip Rivers up there as well. And for whatever it's worth to anybody out there, Jared Goff will in all likelihood pass Jim Kelly for all-time passing yards this week. Matthew Stafford does need just 1 touchdown pass to tie Bob Waterfield with 97 touchdowns thrown in Rams history, meaning 4 more for 100 Rams passing touchdowns for number 9. Puka Nacua, wide receiver, needs 58 receiving yards to pass Carroll Dale for 18th most in Rams history. Needs 1 touchdown to tie for 44th, and 2 to tie for 38th, and 3 to tie for 32nd. So as far as the touchdowns go, he is making his way on up. 3 puts him into 32, though. He's obviously becoming one of the best wide receivers this team's ever seen. Absolutely love to see it. Tight end Tyler Higbee, 2 touchdowns shy of tying Flipper Anderson for 13th most in Rams history. So right now sitting at that 14 slot. K-Dub, Kyron Williams, he gained 15th overall. He got into 15th all-time in rushing yards in Rams history, passing Cleveland Gary in week 1. So we got that one notched out. He needs 1 rushing touchdown to tie Roman Gabriel and Dick Hayner for 10th most in Rams history. 1 to tie for 10th most. That's absolutely incredible. Absolutely love it out of K-Dub. And first Rams running back to have at least 2,500 career rushing yards since Todd Gurley. And I don't know if that stat is necessarily anything to kind of blow your mind off your whole torso or anything, but I think it's interesting that we've had a good chunk of backs, and none of them have really stuck. But this LA Rams team, our history shows that we have that we're pretty sick at finding running backs, and Kyron Williams certainly fits that bill as well. Josh Cardion Wayne, we got he's 74 of 80 all time, which, by the way, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I know that he's only played in 1 year and 1 game, but that's awesome. Those are sick percentages here. And currently second best kicking percentage in Rams history behind kicker Matt Gay. And that's with a minimum 3 attempts. We did have a couple guys come in and just hit like 2 and then they were out of here. So minimum 3 attempts is second best for Josh Carty. Absolutely love that. Super, super cool stuff. Some former Rams who are now playing football for the Tennessee Titans. We've got quarterback Brandon Allen, played some He had some inactive stretches for the Rams there, sitting on the bench, which is cool. Wide receiver, Van Jefferson. The first touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford as a Ram went to Van Jefferson. He is a bench, not a starter for the Titans, but he definitely does get some reps. Defensive end, Sebastian Joseph Day. Absolutely love that. SJD, he's awesome. Punter, Johnny Hecker. Incredible guy, incredible punter. Probably the best guest on Dude Perfect history. So we got a bunch of stuff going on there. We also have linebacker coach Frank Bush, as well as special teams coordinator John Fossil. Bones, man. Coach Bones. Absolutely love to see that, man. That was really cool. Actually, John Fossil's father, Jim, he was the first Super Bowl ring I ever saw in person. It was Rams at Broncos. I think that was the 2018. Yeah, it was the snow game. And then so his dad was there, and it was really cool. I have a picture somewhere. If I find it, I don't know if I can, but if I find it, I'll put it on screen for you. It was really cool. He had it he put his arm on it, and it's like he sees Super Bowl rings, like, yo, awesome, man. That was really, really cool. But good stuff there. And then also, I just wanted to, as I was looking through like the coaches and the roster of the Tennessee Titans, I saw a job title that kind of stuck out to me, and I wanted to pass it along to you, which was Tom Jones is the assistant to the head coach. Shout out my Office fans. All right, let's head into the breakdown here. Matchup, Rams offense going against that Titans defense. In total offense, Rams sitting kind of middle of the pack right now, 17th overall. In the Titans defense, 18th as far as total yards given up. Passing the football, Rams a top 10 unit, 224 from Matthew Stafford and the gang, while the Titans defense is a 12 overall unit. They gave up 166 last week. Rushing the football, Rams in the bottom portion here, 24th overall with just 72 ground yards last week. The 151 given up by the Titans put them in 26th average points being put up. Rams just scored the 14, that's 23rd overall, and then the Titans gave up 20 to the Broncos. That's tied for 14th. Third down conversions, Rams were absolutely killing this, especially through the air, 53.8, tied for 5th. And the Titans gave up 40, which is tied for 13th. So obviously, it's one game. These averages are not going to be as telling as we maybe want them to be quite yet, but they'll start to settle into themselves. We talked about that a lot last year, where the Rams defense was just giving up a bunch of yards, and the averages never really kind of settled in. But if you chunk it out and then take out like the back portion of the season and look what the Rams defense did, one of the best units in the NFL. And I think that that's what you need to look for. Is you don't need to look at a 17-game average. Let's look at a 5-game average. You know what I mean? Like, what about those final 5 games, and what were we looking at there? Because I think that tells you a little bit more about who you are today. So obviously, we only have one game to look at. You are only as good as your last game. Rams won. Rams defense looked awesome. So, I mean, a lot of that. We're talking about the Rams offense right now, but either way, it was a good game plan, I think. And then for the offensive side, too, I think just doing enough to get it done. I think that Matthew Stafford missing training camp, I think, is something that we kind of felt a little bit. And also, Rams don't play anybody in preseason, anything like that, so this really was the first game action that anybody was getting. Titans did a really decent job against Denver, honestly, but it also feels like the Rams come in with a more powerful offense. They did pick off Bo Nix twice, but only got him for just the 1 sack. And then they had the 3 turnovers there. Opposing players to keep our eyes on, a little bit of a 3 to see on the offensive or the other sideline. We're going to start with Jeffrey Simmons, an absolute physical beast. Definitely a guy who has the ability to wreck any given play, so certainly somebody to watch out for. With the injury concerns on the Rams' interior offensive line as well, this is certainly a player to keep our eyes out for. So Jeffrey Simmons, watch out for him. We'll kind of talk about that matchup here in just a moment. Roger McCreary, truly an incredible nickel in the league, man. McCreary can get it done in multiple ways. He was tied for on the Titans for 4th most tackles last week and did have an interception on Nix. Very good player, though. I'm really high on McCreary. L'Jarius Sneed. Sure, Woods had the pick, but also 0 solo tackles. So Sneed, he'll get tasked with being outside a lot with Devontae Adams, and that's a pretty sick matchup, honestly. I think that's going to be really fun to watch. We saw it a lot last week with Devontae Adams going against Derek Stingley. Obviously, that was an incredible matchup. And I think J.B. Long kind of said it best of, like, for lack of a better term, you get Devontae kind of occupying Stingley most of the game, and then Puka Nacua was able to just feast on everybody. And sure, we want to be able to spread the ball around, but if a team's top corner can just be removed from the game, and we get to play with all of our other weapons who are super sick, I ain't mad about it, man. I ain't mad one bit. That's absolutely awesome, actually. My best matchup here, best one-on-one, I'm going to go with Coleman Shelton versus Jeffrey Simmons. That's a great matchup, honestly. It's certainly on Shelton to make sure that the protection is right so that Simmons doesn't do what he's capable of doing, which is just blowing up any given play. But watch for Shelton pointing and adjusting before, really any play. But look for it this week, and then also look to see where Simmons is lined up, because I think I think it'll coincide quite a bit. If Shelton's setting up and we got Simmons to his right, I think we're going to see those points. We're going to see some stuff of like, okay, this is what we're doing here. I think that's just going to be an all-game thing. Don't let Simmons wreck your game. And then, I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody here, but like, don't let Simmons wreck your game, and we should be fine. You know what I mean? Like, Titans they're fine, but they don't have anybody that truly like jumps off the page to me as like, this might be a problem, except for Jeffrey Simmons. So stop him, and I think that good things will happen. That's going to be on Coleman Shelton to get it done for sure. 3-C for the Rams side of the football here. We're going to start with wide receiver Puka Nacua. Obviously. Probably will come up a lot all season, in fairness. But I'm feeling really good about Puka's ability to absolutely go off this season, dude. 10 catches, 130 yards on the season. That's tied for first in receptions and second in yards. Has not had an opportunity to get into the end zone yet, but I do anticipate that that's on the way. I don't want to speak too soon here, man, but there's a crown out there that I feel like might have Puka Nacua's name on it, and I think would also help a lot of fans get over the last time that we had this happen and the situation that has unfolded this past offseason with a certain wide receiver who had an incredible 2021 season. I feel like if Puka Nacua was able to put that together, we'd be like, all right, it's all right. Listen, he knows what he's doing, I feel like it would kind of settle that a little bit, which is good news. Next up, running back Kyren Williams, K-Dub. The Titans gave up 151 yards on the ground last week to the Denver Broncos. Broncos are not a bad football team, but I do like our matchup here with Kyren Williams, especially if that offensive line can be okay. So I know we're banged up with the guards right now, but the Rams do have a chance to create some ground yards this week on the road, and it being that Kyren Williams is the clear-cut, carries getter, I don't anticipate that it should be a problem. As far as like being able to get first downs and actually have the ground game as a weapon to your disposal where we can open up the pass attack, which kind of feels like what the Rams are going to want to do this year. Just based on week one, obviously each game's its own identity. We can't base the whole season off of what we saw in week one. If we did that, I don't even remember last year's week one. No. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe. Maybe, man. I don't know. Wide receiver Davante Adams is what I'm going to go with last year on the 3-C. Probably did a little bit less than we wanted to last week, but showed a few plays of exactly why we got him. I did see... I did kind of mention that before, that JB Long mentioned that, like, if you can just occupy their best corner, Puka Nacua is over there, just going to absolutely destroy the souls of the secondaries all over the NFL. Because if you take your best secondary player and put them only on one guy, well, we have so many dudes. So I'm here for it, man. Obviously, we want to see the targets kind of even out. But honestly, too, I feel like I'm saying that because I keep on getting sucked into the internet world, which isn't real. But it's also like the targets were not that different. So we know that Puka Nacua absolutely went off. He only had one target that wasn't a caught football, where Davante Adams had 8 targets, 4 catches, but 11 targets for Puka and 10 catches. So only a 3-target difference. That's not enough for me to be like, we're broken. Matthew Stafford's broken. He only looks for Puka Nacua. It's broken. We're done. Davante might as well not even play. Like, I'm not here for that. I have seen some wild comments. That's all I'm saying. But either way, I do feel really good about Davante's addition. Even more so that I've seen him play. He had a couple of drops, but it was one of those where it's like, get those out of the way, dude. It's his first time playing with Matthew Stafford. Ain't worried about it. Don't do it in November, December, January, February, and we're fine. If you got to do it, you do it in September against a team in the Houston Texans that we were, able to come out on top of that game with. So I'm kind of here for it, man. Overall, I do think the Rams do lead the the matchup when it comes to the Titans offense versus the Rams defense. I do feel really good about it. I'm hoping that the Rams can stop them to no touchdowns in this one. That feels like something you should be able to do against this team, but let's make no mistake, man. Cam Ward, very good player. You don't get picked number 1 on accident. They didn't draft him, and then they he's like holding his jersey on stage, and Brian Callahan's sitting in his office like, what? No, it wasn't supposed to be him. What do we do? That wasn't the case. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they got the guy they wanted. And he's got Calvin Ridley. I think that as the season goes on, that's going to become a really, really good combo is Cam Ward to Calvin Ridley. So good stuff there. Let's flip over the other side here. This is the Rams defense going against that Titans offense. Titans on offense, 31st ranked in the NFL right now. The Rams 17th ranked defense overall. Passing the football, only 62 passing yards total for the Titans offense. That does include your sack yardage, 32nd in the NFL. Rams defense gave up 151. That is 9th in the league. Running the football just under the Rams' offensive output, 71 yards for the Titans. That puts them in 25th, one slot behind the Rams. Rams gave up 114. That is 20th in the NFL. Average points being put up, we've got 12 for the Titans last week on 4 field goals, 28th in the league. Rams gave up 9. That is 3rd in the NFL. And on third downs, 14.3 conversion percentage for the Titans against the Broncos last week. That is last in the NFL. The Rams gave up 22.2, which is 2nd in the NFL. Going against that Texans offense last week, which honestly, that's probably the most impressive part of this entire thing. I think that the Texans offense is really good. I think that they've got some really good players. Like I said, I know that they're down people, but to only give up less than a quarter, just barely over a fifth of your third downs, absolutely incredible. I think there was a 4th down conversion that was picked up, but you know what? It happens, dude. Broncos defense, by the way, is really good. PS2 and Bonito were absolutely on fire last week, and I think that the Rams can replicate that. Obviously, we don't have a PS2 in our secondary. He's probably the best corner in the league right now. Bonito, we can match that, though, with Jared Verse or Byron Young, who was killing it last week. Absolutely love to see that. But I do think that this is something replicatable by the Rams defense here. And then also, I'm going to kind of consider that Johnny Hekker is part of the defense. I don't know if I would consider him part of the offense, but he was still a total weapon, man. He had 8 punts for a total of 395 yards, only 47 return yards, put 2 inside the 20. And then Joey Sly, obviously, 4 for 4 on field goals. Certainly not an automatic because no one's automatic, but certainly a good kicking unit for Tennessee. So if they're lining up for a field goal, chances are at least solid that they'll, get in there. But opposing players to watch on the Titans offense here. We've got we got wide receiver Calvin Ridley. He's coming off a 27-yard performance. We definitely expected some more, I would say. But he and Ward could become quite the combo as the season goes on. Ridley definitely has the talent to go off at any moment. And based on what we learned against the Texans, we don't even know who the Rams are going to be relying on to cover him. So that's good news. Next up, quarterback Cam Ward, rookie quarterback coming off of a 112 passing yard day, which obviously isn't awesome, but that's also on the road in his first ever NFL game against a solid team in the Denver Broncos. So not, to throw him out already. We can't use the word bust already. He's played one game and it was against a good team on the road. So home opener, obviously, that kind of changes some things, but he's got a game under his belt. Home opener could be, a little bit of vibes in there. Nissan Stadium. It's our job to make sure that doesn't happen, and to make sure, but that he kind of just doesn't do it against us. You know what I mean? But obviously, rookie coming in, it's hard to evaluate, especially a Rams defense that has a lot of movement, a lot of different people playing in different positions. Cam Curl coming up, Lake coming up, corners blitzing. Tank getting a sack, stuff like that. It is very difficult to game plan against this Rams defense, but also we've got one game of tape on Cam Ward, so hard to also get his tendencies in. Next up here, we'll go with running back Tony Pollard. We know that the Titans' offensive line is a weak spot for him, but it's also unclear whether Pollard will start to gain some steam at any point, so that could absolutely happen. He is certainly a talented running back, former Dallas Cowboy, but the Rams defense improved against the run. This is a solid test number 2 before heading up to Philly in what is obviously a really good ground attack. And then the best one-on-one in this one, I'm going to give it to Nate Landman versus Cam Ward. Landman showed up big in week 1, obviously. He showed us all why his teammates named him captain. He's going against a rookie quarterback and helping put the defense in position against a rookie quarterback could be really fun to watch. If Cam Ward makes any adjustments and seeing what Landman does and seeing if he's, shifting some things around based on what he thinks that Cam Ward's pulling, I think it's going to be really fun to watch. But let's see. Let's see if Ward can handle what this Rams defense is throwing at him, dude. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm interested to see what he's got coming in his first home game, honestly. Against a good defense, man. This defense is sick. Could absolutely pitch a shutout. I think that's like obviously best case scenario is pitch a shutout, but I think that worst case scenario, I mean, what's the cap on the points the Titans are going to score in this one? 17? It kind of feels that way, you know what I mean? And maybe I'm not trying to down them. I'm just trying to hype us, you know what I mean? It feels like, though, the way that the Titans looked in week 1, this Rams defense should be able to do a good job at kind of putting a lid on that. 3 to C for the defensive side. We're going to start with Jared Verse. Probably makes the list most weeks. I think that's going to be pretty standard. But going against first-year Titan in Dan Moore Jr., Giga Maggies. But he has plenty of starts with the Steelers in the previous, I think it was 5 years he was with the Steelers. So plenty of game action there. Tough task blocking Jared Verse. And also left guard. The Peter Skoronskis of the world are going to need to get his fair share of reps as well against the defensive rookie or defensive player of the year candidate in Jared Verse. That gold shield on the chest, by the way, so sick, man. It looks awesome. But I did really love how Jared Verse was not just playing edge, that sometimes we'd see Josiah Stewart on the edge and Jared Verse inside, which I think was very creative, very awesome, and just shows, I think, a lot about the growth of Jared Verse in his knowledge of the defense, his ability to kind of know what's going on and attack in different ways. And then I think personally it's really, really good because Josiah Stewart, you tell him, hey, you set that edge, and you tell Jared Verse, go get the quarterback, man. Go get him, especially against a mobile guy like C.J. Stroud. It was one of those where Jared Verse didn't have to do the like, oh, where is he going? Is he going to spin out of this? Whatever. It's just go get him. Chase him down, man. I absolutely love that, especially slipping him just a little bit more inside. That creates such a weird mismatch. Josiah Stewart looks awesome. Byron Young looks awesome. I don't know, man. I'm feeling real cool about the way that they're deploying Jared Verse already this season. Next up, safety Cam Curl led the Rams in solo tackles in week 1 and was in a lot of places a lot of the time, just everywhere. Finding his place in the Rams defense for sure. Definitely flying around the secondary. Feels like Cam Curl's gonna get, some INTs off of some sweet reads. It just kind of feels inevitable at this point. So I'm looking for that to happen. I'm excited for it, man, for sure. And then next up, I'm going to give it to Josiah Stewart, that edge rusher. Color me surprised how the Rams used him. I'll be completely honest. I kind of just talked about it with Jared Verse, but the fact that Stewart was getting so many reps in a week 1 setting, I think goes a long way for what he's looking like and what he's showing, how much trust he's earning from this Rams staff. Obviously, you absolutely love to see it. But Verse inside with Stewart playing the edge, absolutely love it. Verse can just absolutely tee off on somebody. We'll know within the next few weeks if this is just a matchup thing that we saw with the Rams against the Houston Texans, or if this is something that they're looking to get Verse into different situations. I do think it is the latter, but it certainly could be a matchup situation where they're trying to mix up with the depending on who the opponent is, what the positions are looking like, all that good stuff. But either way, it feels like Stewart has made quite the impression and is getting reps as a rookie to show for it. Something we really don't see from the Rams very often is rookies getting a lot of reps. Simply put, we just don't really see it. So Josiah Stewart, that is a really good thing to kind of just see that the rookies out there get a lot of reps. Seemingly, I actually have not seen snap percentages. I'm pretty sure he got more than Hampton, which, if that's happening, man, that's a good sign for Stewart. So good stuff. We'll go and end it on I'll give you a score prediction here, and then we'll get into our fan quesos. But score prediction here, I'm feeling really good about this one, man. It feels like the Titans are if they're good this year, it feels like it's going to be mid to late season. The fact that we get the Titans early in this one, Cam Ward's second game, offensive line just not really gelling yet, anything like that. Obviously, this is the first year, like I said, for Dan Moore playing that left tackle spot. So it's a lot of mixing up right now, a lot of learning for the Tennessee Titans, especially on the offensive side of the football with head coach Brian Callahan. Kind of running the show a little bit, but Cam Ward, obviously, game 2, lots to learn, lots for us to learn about ourselves as well. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I feel good about this game. I think that I'm going to go with a 24-6 score prediction. That's not normally something I do, score predictions, but I feel like people want them. So We're going to do that. My camera just stopped recording, and we're going to head to